All right, there we go. So they're talking. I'm like, can't see anything moving. I was actually talking. Yeah, I was talking, and I was like, it's not moving. And then I realized that not only was like the original microphone unplugged, but the one from behind the PC was also unplugged. Yeah, thank you, Kipster. Yeah, yep, that was Kip. Kip the Destroyer. Anyway, so we have the interesting data that just came out, which I'm going to call 100% BS on it right now. And it's funny, they want it to be 3.7 so bad, right? 2 times ago, I was like, it's 3.7. And like, no, it's actually 3.5. I'm going to call that this is a complete fake number and will not be surprised if it gets readjusted, right? They want it to be higher so bad, right? But explain this to me, right? Non-farm, we not only revised, right? It was like, oh my God, it was better than expected, 263. Look at how many people are getting hired back again. It was actually 315, right? Higher there, which means this should have technically been lower if it was on track, but it was even higher. So it's like, listen, people are getting hired left and right. We saw the jobs going down. Exactly. And again, all the other unemployment numbers have been steady lower. How exactly is, with all these people being hired, how is our unemployment rate going higher, right? People are getting, like, way more people are getting hired than what they thought. I think this is a bullshit number. I'm just going to say it. I don't care. Flag the channel, whatever. It's fake. It just goes to show you. We can point fingers at China when they fake their data. We're doing the same exact thing. So, yeah, don't tell me there's no politics involved in this. Anyway, look at the CAD data. Awesome data for the CAD. Look at that. They expected to have an increase of 11,000 new jobs, 108,000 new jobs over there. Right? Unemployment rate lowering, average hourly earnings going up. Like gangbusters over there, right? Man, the neighbors of the north are killing it, right? That's awesome for them. I'm looking at this and I'm like, wow. I mean, that's really, some really nice data, right? Some really nice data. You got to be all over that one, right? And good for them, it's perfect for them. Why not? Why not? Right? It's got to be happy there. Yeah, with that, wow. Good stuff. Good stuff. Interesting comments. And again, just, the review next today's nothing on Saturday, nothing on Sunday, and then Monday morning, nothing until late in the afternoon. Looking at kind of the data, it's interesting. The BOE talking about it, it's a little bit too high. We want to keep the bank, if we keep it, the inflation will be a little too high for us. You would look at this and you would look at this and be like, wow, the ECB is going to be super aggressive. We must not and will not let inflation become entrenched, meaning like we're going to pay the prices we pay right now. That you would look at that and be like, wow, that's a really inflammatory statement. They're really going to get under this control, right? The rate path ahead will look different depending on the contingencies we face. That means we don't know what's going to happen with the Ukraine. We do have to raise rates to the levels that will deliver our 2% medium-term inflation target. And again, yeah, got it. And if we see, for example, inflation becoming more persistent and expectations being at risk and de-anchoring, we'll need to take additional action. So you look at this and you're like, wow, this is like a really hawkish stance for them. The market's taking it as a little bit hawkish, right? Yeah, it's a little up here, little up here. Obviously, the yen's kind of getting blown up, and we're seeing the weakness on the yen now because obviously the stock market's up today. What's crazy about this is Powell literally said, we're not there yet. We don't think we've peaked. We're going to go past. We're going to hold it past, and basically said everything in the world to basically tell you the opposite. And yet the market sees this, so like, oh my God, look, it's working. Whoa, positive day. And again, everybody wants to be able to get long this market so bad. There was an article yesterday, and I redid the browser, so we're not going to be able to see it. Where is it? It was talking about the yield curve. And again, the yield curve is one of those things. Here it is right here, right? This is kind of interesting. The yield curve inversion reaches a 4-decade extreme. Okay. The last time we saw this was in the 1980s when the Federal Reserve was aggressively tightening policy, right? The inversion briefly exceeded 85 points on August 10th, last seen about 40 years ago when then Fed Chair Paul Volcker's rate hikes to break inflation tanked the economy. Kind of interesting, right? The inversion curves have the same track preceding downturns. So yeah, and again, Todd loves this. Again, somebody was talking about Todd earlier today. I haven't talked to him. I should reach out and shoot him a text message. I know he's busy with the new job or whatever, but he loves the yield curve was like his thing. He loved the yield curve. But yeah, kind of crazy. Like the market's like, yeah, this is great. We're back up to 3.7. We're celebrating the unemployment rate going up and the stock market's going higher. And we think that, again, this is going to slow, inflation down, but it shows that it hasn't so far. So yeah. He had a new job, I guess, supposedly with like, the first week. And then he took like 2 additional weeks or 3 weeks off, just to kind of like reset himself and, just recharge batteries. So yeah, stuff at Nadex was not always as positive as Todd portrayed it. He was excellent at that. Always providing like a positive. He had to deal with a lot of stuff. Give the guy a lot of credit. He had to deal with a lot of stuff over there, and no matter what, there was times where he was very frustrated. He's only human, but yeah, he always was like, no, you know what? We're going to do this. We're going to do this. Todd was one of those guys. Like if I was hiring and I saw that Todd was on the market, I'd definitely grab him. He's a very, very hard worker. Really tries to get the most out of everything. So yeah, good guy. Seems like they have a good thing going there. Yeah, I don't know. They just can't get out of their own way. They've never grasped the marketing concept correctly. And then, you have one model and it just, they never really wanted to capitalize. And then like the big money came in, but then the big money, I mean, like I said, I'm not on the inside. I don't know. I just know what was kind of talked about. And then when the currency market tanked, it was like, well, where's all the stuff that you talked about? A lot of stuff, or not currency, the crypto market. A lot of stuff changed very, very fast. And, that's what happens. I mean, IG did absolutely nothing with it. IG was garbage. They did nothing, but it was kind of like, hey, listen, they wanted to use it to break in. And for being as big of a broker as they were, they did absolutely zero. They did nothing but hinder, with compliance and everything else. They did nothing but hinder Nadex's growth. Honestly, it was the best thing in the world that they sold them. But then, obviously, when the crypto transactions went down by 95, 97% or whatever it was, a lot of the excess money that Crypto.com had that I think they were using to help grow Nadex went. And now I guess they're going a different route. But, like, I don't know. I don't see marketing from them anymore. Like I said, I have multiple email addresses that I use for things like that for marketing purposes. I honestly have no idea. The last I was supposed to get a call back, never did. It was kind of like, yeah, I still want you to do these. If you'll run them, I'm like, sure, I'll run them. It's no big deal. I'd like to continue it forward. I used to get emails all the time. I had countless emails. Hey, what's going on? Are the sessions coming back? And the sessions coming back, and Nadex's response was, yeah. And then just nothing. Went dark, sent 2 emails, got nothing back. And I'm like, okay, guess they are done officially. So, I was told a lot of stuff, and I don't know if it got pulled from higher ups or what it did, but, I was at the end, I think I was the only educator. Actually, for like 2 years, I was the only educator there that was working with them. I had three of the slide decks that I use. I had to get approved with the regulatory boards. So it's kind of cool. I mean, I can say I have I have slide decks approved by the huge regulatory agencies. Right? Not many people can say that. 99% or 99.9% of the educators out there, these YouTube guys are just marketers. They have no idea. But I'm like, yeah, I have multiple slide decks and presentations and articles approved by the regulators. So it is what it is. But, again, because I don't want to spew lies on Instagram and stuff like that, I just don't go that route. Like, I just don't care enough, Like I love this guy. There's a guy out there right now that's like, yeah, I lost all my money in currencies, and I'm rebuilding my accounts again from scratch, and I'm like, yeah, people are gonna follow you for doing that. But yeah, you've been telling everybody you've been the expert, and this is the only way to trade for years, and you just blew an account. It just shows that yes, you can market, but you can't trade to save your life, dude. Yeah, so not good when emails are ignored. Yeah, okay, that's just how it did. And if they, hate to talk bad about people, but if that's, after a 5 or 6 year relationship, you just get ghosted. It's like, okay, so yeah. I mean, I couldn't even tell you the last time I opened the platform. I've just, I just been way too busy. There's definitely other things to do. Yeah, I haven't even logged in. So it's not one of those things. It's like it was always kind of a side thing. It wasn't my main focus. But it's kind of like, what's my motivation, right? What's my motivation to log into it, right? If that's how you treat people that have worked with you, and just so everybody, and again, full transparency, I never received the check from Nadex once. Not once, 5 years, did I ever receive any type of compensation from Nadex. So if, free labor for 5 years, again, I did it because I liked it and because I wanted to help people. For 5 years, if, you didn't write me a single check the whole time, at least you could have sent me an email and said, we're going to go a different direction. We're not going to do education anymore. But I got nothing. Yeah. So, yeah, it just goes to show you that's the company you're working with. So, it is what it is. Anyway, this data should be interesting. I'm assuming we'll see kind of leveling out today. The indice people are looking for anything. They're going for that Feel Good Friday right now, but the reality is Powell basically already said, like, listen, we're not slowing down. Nothing in the data that has showed us we need to slow down. And everybody's saying that inflation has not peaked yet. So it's great that, everyone's like, yeah, they're slowing down. This is awesome. They said they needed to get it to 4.6. And the crazy part about this unemployment rate is, right, it's not really an accurate gauge right now because it's not how many people are working, right? It's literally, it's like, listen, we have we just found with JOLTS, we have 10 million job openings, but like 5 million people that are willing to work. And we have an unemployment rate. But it's really an unemployment rate? Is that real? Not really. But look at this, 234 or 240. Awesome kind of drop. And again, it's because this CAD data just absolutely smashes the data, right? Smashes the data. So again, good on CAD. It's nice to see them, again, really kind of putting things back in again. Should lead them to another interest rate. Remember, they did have a slower interest rate before, so that's always good to see in the CAD standpoint of things. VIX obviously down. Again, all the major data is out, right? Once we got that 8:30 release and non-farm came out, I was like, woo! And again, seeing that bad number, this is that bad is good. You see your unemployment rate, you go up. It's like, hey, people are losing jobs. Yes! It's completely counterproductive, right? But again, that would obviously suck things out again because people are looking at that as, the Fed's going to slow down. The Fed literally just said we are not slowing down. But hey, this is new data. You don't think that Powell had the non-farm data on Wednesday? Really? You think that they just got this data this morning? That this was the first time anybody's seen it? No, he absolutely knew what all this data looked like. Dollar, obviously, dollar was again very, very high, as it should have been, up at the 113 area. Very easy to, not a highlighter. Very easy to draw kind of an area. Say, oh, listen, look, there's a base and it's dropping. Oh my God, look at this, right? And again, that's right around. And you can see the 113 mark is literally standing right there. Right there's 113. Here, let me put it right on because someone will say it wasn't. There's always that one person. Right there. There's 113. Again, large round number. At this point, again, it's kind of funny. There was a level that was a nice little level of risk right there. You can see at 8:30, what did it do? Popped up and boom. So, there was even a news release in this trade, right? Yeah. Again, I understand why the dollar is down. Is it a justified move? Not really. It's nice to think that the Fed is going to slow. They're going to say, hey, you know what? I know what I said on Wednesday, but now that I've seen the data for the first time, like all of you on Friday, right? Maybe the Fed, maybe we will slow down because it's, it really looks like it's working and we don't want to go too far. No, they already said they're not done yet. They are going to go. They've said in the past as well, not only are we going to go to where we need to stop inflation, but we're going to go beyond it and then hold it there for some time. And think about it, that's their language. So anyway, I would expect this, and again, this is a 15 minutes, so it looks a little crazy. I would expect this to have a retrace. Now, again, there was an old level here. There wasn't anything in there necessarily. Let's see. Maybe fibs help slow that one down a little bit. Not really, because it sliced through the 50 like it didn't exist, and it didn't even make it to the 61. So, again, that was kind of just very, very quick exhaustion. Probably, again, the dollar acting more as a proxy than a driving factor. So it's pulling up, but I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we get back in. Again, it is Friday, so you guys know my opinion on Fridays. It's get your money, get out, be done by noon at the latest. I wouldn't be surprised if we come back up in this 112.34 range. Indices, all in the green now, all in the green, but you're seeing them turn back very, very fast because everybody's like, oh my God, this is great. And then, people are like, wait a second, hold on. Wait, what? Everybody that saw that data is like, yeah, we're going long, baby. The Fed's going to stop. They've all gotten stopped out at this point. So it's very, very funny. Now, with that said, I'm going to go through these individually down the road. Look at oil just taking off, right? Oil, we had this level we talked about yesterday morning down here, late last night. Again, it did take that 1030 bounce. It came back down, grabbed the same buyers, and then boom, up, 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 up. Lots of basing in that prior level. Up, 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 up. We ended up breaking the 90.93 and then shooting even higher. So, all the indices, and again, weak dollar, you expect to see all these a bit higher. Even gold and silver are higher. Silver 4%, right? Double. It's supposed to do double what gold does, and it is. It's doing double what gold is right now. So crazy stuff going on right now. Here's what we got for the Aussie. And again, it kind of told us what was going to happen, right? The 7:30, the hour before, what did we do? We started pulling back again, right? We started pulling back. It's like, wait a second, really? We're pulling back. We're seeing weakness before the news, and there's your zone right there, bracketed in on the base of the red candle. And look at that. We came down, we tagged it, and then took off. And again, we knew this whole area, this is too big of a zone for us to trade out of, but that's what kind of ran into. So I would say the same thing. I'm expecting a reversal. Look to take profit if you're going to take this one short at 63.77. The reality is it's nice to say that, hey, listen, it's weak dollar. They're not going to raise anything, but they're not going to change anything. That data point does not change a thing. But yet, magically, the news, what did it do an hour beforehand? It started to drive us back down. It's like they knew, right? Because if you want to buy something, you get it on sale. And it did. It came all the way back down, grabbed the base, and took off. So now look at this. We're seeing the reversal coming back down already. Little craziness there. Little craziness. Now, again, picking the top of this one would have been a little bit more difficult. The 9 o'clock candle would have been a good start on there, particularly with the 9:30 open. I don't even know on a 15. Yeah, on a 15, it's like, oh, God, it's struggling. It's struggling. And you would expect a full retracement coming back from that because, again, parabolic move. That move was, 100 pips? This only has a daily ATR of 107, and it moved 100 pips in 30 minutes. I mean, come on. Right. So again, it is on its way to retrace again. A lot of people that got long at the open are like, oh God, what's happening? It's going the wrong way. As it should. I mean, it's, again, it's one data point. And it's crazy. You're celebrating people losing their jobs. But at the same time, we already know by the guy that makes the decisions, they said they're not slowing down. And again, I think the realization will kick in. Did Powell have this data on Wednesday? Yes. We don't even have to pretend. Right. And this is the problem with, obviously trading right after, a new, something like non-farm, non-farm. I mean, obviously interest rates move things around, but non-farm, I mean, interest rate changes don't happen all the time. There'll be a year where nothing happens at all. Non-farm month after month is the single biggest market moving news release. Right. Again, it's even the retrace right now, just on this candle, we're already down 40 pips. So, again, look for the retracement. The question is what happens at 10:30 today. 10:30, I'd like to see where we're at, how far down we've retraced. We may get a little bit of a pullback and then a continuation. Overall, I don't think it's necessarily, going to be a super weak dollar day. But I think after what we've had with raising the interest rates, the FOMC statement, and then non-farm coming in the way that it is, I do feel like a lot of traders will be taking and exiting a little bit earlier today. So, again, look for the retracement in the Aussie dollar. As the Aussie dollar turns and flips, also keep an eye on gold because gold should help foreshadow that one. Aussie yen, here you go. I mean, we drew this yesterday. So, again, parabolic move up, right into 94.78, and you're already in. Excuse me, shouldn't be out yet. 1 to 3 is right there. So you're about 2/3 of the way through on that one. And again, parabolic move up, the 1 to 3 is well within that range. You can see the 61 did nothing. 50 had a little bit of a kickoff of it, but it did the same thing. That 7:30 to 8:30, it shot price back down. Now, this one missed getting an entry on there just by a little bit. But again, we know when we have a parabolic move, and this is quite a big one as well, it is 85 pips high. Right into a level that, again, we had some confirmation in here. We had it marked off yesterday. We literally slammed into it and then pushed back to the downside. Now, this one is not so much the Aussie, but this is kind of a proxy of a proxy. So is it the best one to play it in? Not always, right? Because, again, Aussie is a proxy for gold, and yen is going to be the proxy for, obviously, the Dow. And, again, Dow is reversing right now, and that's why we're seeing this yen strength kind of roll back into the market. So, again, do you get it now? Not when we're 2/3 of the way there. The trade was already, you're already in. You've already locked in profit. It's basically a free trade. You can't lose money. You just walk away at this point. All right? So that's kind of where we're at. As far as next week, I still think this level up top, and again, I'll just steal this one here, take this, and bring it all the way over. 95.45. right? It's kind of the extreme range of that zone. Again, we are in the top third, so we are looking for shorts. But this would be the next area I'd be looking for it. It would take quite a rally today to kind of get it all the way up there. Not that it can happen. I mean, it's, I don't know, let's see, 75 pips. I mean, could we get it? Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's got a daily ATR 124. So, 50 pip 4-hour ATR. It can move, right? We may need a little bit of help over the weekend, but again, that's a level that on Sunday night, if we tag this one on Sunday night, I think there could be a decent short there to take this and turn and roll back to the downside. All right. Let's see if there's any major levels in. Yeah, the same one that we missed earlier. Again, if you would have drawn this level here, you did not make it, but you can see that is a level. So, yeah, downside, if you are short, ideally, looks like 94. Right there. Actually, let's change this to green and black. That is our target. You want to make sure you get your profit out right there, right? So that's kind of how it looks. But again, 94 would be the overall projection of the downside. I do think actually 94 does have the potential for a long. The reason why is it is a 50% retracement. It did get front run with that news. It came down and grabbed the buyers just a little bit early. And you're going to have people that take this low to high and say, oh, there's a 50% retracement level there. Yeah, you're right. Right. So in any short, again, first target's going to be the black. Second one will be 94. Again, depending on what time we hit, I do think this could be a potential trade opportunity to take that one long. And look for, again, some type of a bounce off there. All right. Euro dollar. Again, are we surprised that the euro dollar spiked? No. We talked about a level. Again, this is kind of a weird one. You had all the basing in here, and you had a confirmation of it. So it's kind of like, this is another one of those ones where you're like, had you taken the level here that was confirmed, I'll make it orange. When there's a level on a level, we typically play the conservative route going a little bit lower. But the fact that it was confirmed here, you know that there's buyers sitting there. So it's like, do we take this one? Do we not take this one? Kind of a hard one, all right? Kind of a hard one to be able to do. I'd love to say, oh, yeah, definitely, you would have traded that one. But most of the time when we have a level on level, we take the lower. It just, what would have made this one difficult is this piece. And that's what it hit. Let's run some fibs on this one to see if we got any artificial turning. We did. Yeah, we got 61.8 turning on that one. You can see 50, didn't slow it down. 61.8. That was where the turn was. And there is a wick over here against the wall. So there is a little bit of a hiccup there. Don't love it. But this is definitely a level that if we can get a red, green, red, I'd look for this one to retrace back down today as well. People don't seem overly impressed with the European statements. I like them. I think they're great. If she actually means them and is like, yeah, that's what we're doing, then I think those are good. I mean, I like those, right? But the question is that actually, she said it, but does she mean it? Why is my phone vibrating now? Oh, where's Melissa? Let's see. Okay, got it. All right. Sorry. Typically when Melissa sends a message, it's like, oh, I better check that one. All right, we good. There we go. All right. So again, same reversal that we're going to see in everything else. I think it comes back down again. For your targets, again, be conservative. Take it out at 98. And again, we can put this at 98 flat. Look at that. It's amazing. You get these round numbers. You're like, here's your target. Bam, round number. Here's your target. Bam, round number. So again, 98 would be, I say, the overall target today. And again, maybe it panders back and forth again. But the reality of that data is it's one data point. Shouldn't make that much of a difference. We should get that complete rollover. And again, maybe it just stabilizes here. And then Sunday night, the dollar strength rolls back in. By the way, one of the other things too, I saw a headline this morning. I haven't seen any counter headlines yet. Confusion everywhere. I love that. Confusion everywhere. Yeah, you could say that. U.S. payroll print sparks raise and rate hike odds. Yeah, see, look, we're raising the interest rates because of that payroll number. But yet everybody's like, no, wait, what? No, they're not. No, but jobs are going down. No, it's because so many people are getting hired, right? It's There's confusion everywhere. I love that. Go zero hedge. Props to you. Not seeing any of the data yet down here. I'm not seeing any comments about it. I did see it, again, on my phone. I get the different feeds for things like that. No Russian comments yet. So I don't know if you guys saw it. And again, this is one of those weekend things. I don't know if you guys have watched, but you're hearing it's U.S. intelligence is saying that Russian commanders discussed nuclear weapons in Ukraine or using nuclear weapons in the Ukraine. They discussed it. I don't know. Did we discuss using nuclear weapons in Russia? I don't know. When you say that they discussed it, like, what does that mean? Like, were they like, should we do it? Should we not do it? Or like, if we did it, what would it look like? Right? I feel like the way that people prepare for things is they discuss it. And it was a very choice term. But I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but the Gerald H-4, the super aircraft carrier, the most advanced one in the world, we just sent it over to the UK. So it's the first time since like the Cold War we've had, I guess, 2 aircraft carrier attack groups over there. I feel like Putin's not going to like that. I feel like there's going to be some comments. It's like, wow, you just put the most advanced carrier over there in the UK, in Portsmouth, just to, yeah. So we have the most firepower we've had since the Cold War now over there. And obviously, I mean, it's not lost on Putin who it's aimed at. So, yeah, haven't seen a headline response back again, but do we get headlines over the weekends? We do. Yeah, we absolutely do. So, yeah, would not be surprised. And again, that should actually help. Again, if we get any type of a headline on that one as well, that would bring strength of the dollar and weakness to the euro because it's literally right on their front. We turn and see, and with this one, we turn and roll back down again. Now, Euro pound. Euro pound, we have a nice little Harry Potter trade set up here. And again, we talked about an area yesterday morning. Yesterday we were sitting right here. We talked about, hey, coming down, there is a wick over wick. I'd love to say this one entered, guys, but it didn't. At 5 o'clock, look at this. Look how close it missed by. We had it marked off, right around that 5:30 reversal. We missed it. It's like, gotta hate when that happens. Right. So anyway, I still think, again, as far as on your watch list, again, the alert's still sitting there. We're looking for any type of basing in this level. We know that there are buyers there, which means it'll probably bounce one more time. But eventually it's going to break and eventually turn back to the downside. I still think keep this on your radar for next week. 86.91, 86.57. Both of those look pretty decent. And we're now actually up and poking around at this 87.55. Right. So question is, do we turn and roll? It is Friday, so again, this market closes in the next 2 hours. Always hard, and you look at it, it's up 0.18. So it's up a little bit, not really anything major. We are seeing some flares back again, some selling pressure coming in, and we knew we would up in this area. We had mentioned this here. We got a little confirmation. We hit it again, kind of formed here. I think anywhere up here, this is another one of those ones when we look at it for the week. I think we're starting to look for a weekly position next week to turn and roll back to the downside. Okay. We talked about it in the pound yen. We talked about it last week, taking one of those swing positions. I think this is kind of one as well, right? I really feel like, again, the UK is putting up a good, the EU, the EU is putting up, some good language, but again, they're kind of on a run. I feel like the pound's going to start clawing some of this back. Euro yen. So Euro yen, you're seeing a stop, a halt, and the reason why we're seeing the pop, obviously, because the indices were up. We're seeing the weakness in the yen because obviously the indices are popping. Now they're having some problems. So we do know, again, there is a small level here. This is, again, the Harry Potter is already done. We're already out. We didn't make it all the way down to the first target, or this, I guess, the final target. But we know that we have some selling in here. So, if we can punch up just a little bit more, it's kind of getting us back in that range where it's like, do we take this one short? And it's very similar. The euro pound is an area where we have sellers. The euro yen is coming up to an area where we do have confirmed sellers as well. Question is, are we going to get some yen help with that one? And that's the big thing. That scares me. What part, Debbie, scares you? The fact that we just sent a second carrier group to there? I remember if you remember why the Ukraine situation started, it was because they were joining NATO and Putin felt like his borders were getting too crimped and he felt that the United States was being an aggressor. Kind of the same thing that China also said, that, U.S. aggression was, making this worse, right? And a couple other nations that also do not like us said that U.S. aggression is going to cause war. Yeah. I don't feel that we're doing anything to de-escalate the situation. I think we're up to like $60 billion or something like that we've sent over there in arms and everything else. It's the totals are absolutely insane that we've sent over there, right? The amount of money that we spent, we could have. I think there are so many other things that we could have done, but instead we're in a pissing contest. Yeah. And then it's like, and it's funny. America is now becoming the un-American one, right? It's funny. Companies don't make profit. Give it all back to the state. Let it be free, right? It's like, wow, we're going to that socialism thing. It's funny. Like when OPEC is like, yeah, you're the bad guy. You literally called Saudi Arabia and all these other people and you bullied them. And then all the people are like, we never got bullied. Like, we got called out by the Middle East for being a bully. It's like, I mean, what age is that, right? Funny, funny, funny. I love that, Literally, the nation's like, no, we weren't forced to do this. We're in 100% unanimous agreement that it needs to happen. Like, we can't even get, we can't even get the Fed to agree on anything, and they had 23 nations unanimously agree on it. It's like, holy crap, right? Do we live in that much of a bubble? But yeah. So anyway, I look for this to turn and roll back down again. I want to see where we are. Right now, I'd be using the 145.55, or here, I'll make it up right there. 145.55 and 147. I'm sorry, 143.71 as kind of our top and bottoms for this week, for this going over the weekend. I like this one more high, and then look for it to turn and roll back down again. I do think the yen is going to get a little bit more strength. I do think the overall indices are going to tank a little bit more. Again. What's scary is all the ingredients that, past recessions have shown us are all happening again, and people are continuing to ignore it. I don't know. I feel like this is the same lesson when, Bitcoin was up at like 60 and like, it's replacing the dollar. And then it was like, what? Wait, where is it now? Where did it go? You don't hear the same people saying the same stuff. So I don't know. I feel like right now, dangerous spot, but I do think we will get some yen strength rolling back in. Now, pound dollar, you can see pound dollar. This is a hard one. Again, we were sitting down here, and you can see where the news did. It came all the way down. I mean, it tagged its target, and kind of yesterday, yesterday morning, we kind of bounced off of. We came down, and then we took all the way off, and we went all the way back to the top side. And could you have gotten short there? Yeah, I mean, you should have gotten the target out. And it turned and rolled all the way back down again, and then came back up, and now it's having some problems. Now, we are in a racetrack higher. I would say as far as this one goes, we really don't have much here until this 114 mark. You can see there's not a lot here. And again, this chop back and forth, it's starting to move now, probably because of the data. Let's see what the data was. Here you go. This is why. Still open with 75 basis point if needed, right? Doesn't believe big slowdown needed to achieve price stability. It's entering a new phase that could require smaller rate increases while officials figure out how high rates need to crush inflation. But she did not rule out another 75 basis point, right? Interest rates are in restricted territory. I don't know about that one. Recognizes the risk of hiking too far, yeah. But they've already said they're going past and then holding it for a while. So nice that, she's saying that, but, still open. People are looking at that as like, oh, you're not definitely slowing down? Cat Ivy was a little bit low. So, yeah, it's hard to say that it's, right now, nothing is slowing us down. So, yeah, that's why we're seeing it. And again, we're seeing this pop right now is because she's making comments about we could potentially slow. The market's really keen on that, but I think they're overly optimistic. I hate to say it, but I feel like they're overly optimistic. Anyway, here's a trade for setup for the weekend. 139.41. If we can rally all the way up there, 92 pips, right? 92 pips. Kind of a, could we do it today? Sure. 92, we could do it today. That's a really heck of a move. And then I would definitely expect a turn and reversal back down again. So, yeah, right now, again, we had the ping pong effect. Again, hit. Again, 2 front runs up here. You expect it to break after these 3 touches. It did kind of whipsawed back and forth through the 23. Again, those poor 23 traders. Yeah, so at this point, I would say look for shorts up here. I'll just change it to red, actually. And again, this should be 1400. Boom, right there. All right. I'm trying to think if there's anything else with that one. Nah, not really. Pound yen. All right, so you can see pound yen. Yesterday morning, we were sitting right here. We took a little bounce right here at 9:30. Well, we came back and touched it again and pushed up, and we came down and touched it again at 8:30 and pushed it back up. You say, wait, why 8:30? What happened? Well, when the indices went crazy, again, that's what gave us that yen weakness coming in there. I don't think this one was really. I mean, we hit it so many times. I don't think this one really was qualified for much. Yeah, 1 to 3 was right there. Right there. So, yeah, it's been a slow one if you're in it. Again, this is one of those ones that the risk on this was big. It was a 40 pip stop loss for a 120 pip game in the other direction. There's obviously ways that you could shrink this down, right? So, but yeah, it's the same level we've talked about all week. I would look at this one and say, again, there is a zone up here, and it is the 23 on a bigger spectrum. 166.80 is kind of, or 166.79 is kind of where that's coming in at. I don't know if we're gonna have time today, but again, this also meets the narrative. Um, Again, indices getting crushed next week, and having the yen kind of turn and roll back down with us. Yeah, yeah. Right now, I mean, there's not much we can do. You guys are like literally right there at the very, very end. I don't know what to say. It's right there. So again, if you caught that from yesterday, all good. Dollar CAD. So I don't think there'll be any question on this one. We talked about it, and again, kind of what we saw. Here's the hour beforehand. What happened the hour beforehand? Up, 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 up. So yeah, they're looking for a zone, and there's a zone right here. Probably there is where you put it. You box it off the green, and right there. So it's funny. It's not quite the Harry Potter, but again, you take it near term. Let's see. How much risk was it? 18. So yeah, it's nothing. I mean, 1 to 3 is right there. Right there. So again, anybody surprised of this? Hopefully not. Again, with the data we saw, 145 pips instantaneously. Absolutely incredible CAD data. Dollar data can be misconstrued as, wait, is that good? Is that bad? Is that good? Wait, what is it? Which one is it? What do we do with that? Yeah. And overall, it was taken as a dollar week. But again, the CAD data just absolutely monstrous. And the market showed us ahead of time that people had the data. People knew what the data was. Because again, if you want to sell, you want to get the highest price you can for it. The hour beforehand, it did nothing but shoot it straight up, ran into his zone, and boom. Now, where do we stop? So this is an old level. We've kind of broken it before. It's not really the cleanest thing out there. There's the level right now. That's kind of what we're bouncing in. Really, until we get down to this 134, there's really not a whole lot that's clean. I guess there's a little bit of hiccup right there. Is that where that is? No, we were looking for a base with that other one. And there's a little bit in here. Yeah, I don't think this one's holding. This level's not going to... I don't think this one holds. It's been here way too many times at this point. 1775. Hmm. $134. Like I said, we're breaking the 135 right now. Yeah, I mean, this is not a hold level for me. Like I said, it's been crushed here, 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 and the original formation. So, but does it qualify for Harry Potter? I mean, there's a bunch of levels in here. There's a little bit right in there. I would say that that's probably where the target is, but we don't have a clean run. You got all kinds of stuff in here. So, I mean, just so you guys can kind of see it across on a bigger spectrum. You know, it's barely a 1-to-1 before we run into an area where we do have some sellers. Yeah, it's 20 pips down. So, for Friday, it's one of those ones. Can we come all the way down? I don't know. I'd like to see where we end for the week. I feel like this one has the ability for a Sunday night gap strategy. Again, we get a base that we close in, and then we start to kind of kick up a little bit for whatever reason over the weekend. Then we take off, wherever we close. If we close here, right? If this is the final candle and we close here, right? Look for an open above, a push back down again, and then take that thing long. So my read on this one is on Sunday night, we look to go long the dollar CAD. Yeah, the CAD data was absolutely great. But, again, the dollar, if Zero Hedge is like, oh my God, this is so confusing. What do we do with this? Yeah, you're right. It is. But we're hiring people left and right. It's odd that you're hiring that many people. You're increasing payrolls that much, but yet the unemployment rate is going up. Unless suddenly you're tweaking the labor utilization rate. Yeah, it's kind of it's one of those things where it's like, the story just doesn't hold water. So, yeah, I expect there to be an adjustment. So look for dollar strength to roll back in. Dollar Swiss looks the same. right? Dollar Swiss did the same thing. Let's delete this. Would you say you saw a base and you saw a pullback? Now this one, depending on how you drew it, right? Really, that's kind of where you should have drawn it, is right there. That kind of qualifies as the biggest base. It did touch. Had you done it here, it's very, very close. It did just peak above, so you probably would have done it. Had you been super conservative and only done that little top, which I don't think you really, it's hard because here's where like it's a bottom, a top, and a touch. It's kind of where it needs to be, but it looks just like the other ones, right? I mean, it's no different. I'm drawing this. Oops, it's backwards. Backwards. There you go. You're out. 1 of 3 is right there. So, again, we talked about this one, taking this one short off this top level. We had mentioned this yesterday morning. We were sitting here yesterday morning. So, had you held the same trade, we said get yourself out at 10035. Obviously, that news helped us, but it had pushed all the way back down again. So, had you been short, again, we talked about being a short trade. We expected it to kind of turn and roll, and it did. Did everything it did, and now it's all the way back down to parity. Obviously, parity would have been target number 2. So, kind of the same thing. I'd like this one to kind of roll all the way down. I don't know. Let's see. Can we get it more? 35. Yeah, you can see how far here. Right there is the outer band. That's the outer band right now. So yeah, we're a little past. Interesting enough, look at this. Here was your pinch, right? Pinch in a zone, and it broke out the bottom side. Yeah, and there's a red green, and the red green red is right there. There's your confirmation. Right, there's your confirmation entry. And it did give us the ability to get back in. Yeah, so I would look for the same thing in this one. I don't think the story is any different. Look for this to come down. There's a potential base down here at 99, right? 99 goes down to right there, 99.08. I would say look for this as a potential reversal for today. It may hold. If we can end up and close somewhere, I mean, if we literally go ding, 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 chop back and forth here, I'm totally cool with that one. I think Monday or Sunday night, we look for this one to turn and roll back up again. It could be this level. It may go down just a little bit lower. It depends on how much of a driving force really kind of, again, we are so far outside of what the kind of bell curve is showing us. It should slow down. We should see profit taking, but I would be looking for a reversal, particularly on Sunday night. If you guys know how to take swing positions, this is a candidate for a swing position on Monday night. Okay. All right. Dollar yen. All right. So dollar yen. Magically, look at that. There's our base. Now, the question is, do we get the pullback? Will we get the slowdown and the pullback in time for this one to continue to go lower is the big question. So we talked about this. We knew it was going to be a 50. Based off of yesterday, this one, same thing. Look, it kind of started to rally up before news again. It's like, yeah. And it didn't really go all the way up. This is a zone that, look, 1, 2, 3, 4. We hit it again. We weren't really looking at it. It would have been much better up here. We were kind of hoping to get up to the 148, but again, it had driven it down and then started to push it back up. The Europeans kind of screwed this one up for us. But now, again, we are looking for this to go lower. This one actually, with the 61.8 here, we may actually start to base on that 61.8 number and then push back up again. Unfortunately, again, we always like to take more of a near-term position on this one. I would have to say right now that while that's the 50, this capture, I think, is better. Again, it was the old base here. It came through, it kind of chopped and went up again. So I would actually move this up just a little bit to there. So we are kind of getting deep in there. Typically we want to get the more near-term basing, and that was an old level actually, so it was a decent kind of little kind of telltale sign. It is 10:30, so we could get that reversal now. The question is, do we come to the 61? Because that's pretty deep into that trade. Man. It's the same thing. This one doesn't have anything done. Yeah. So this last bit of news has cleared us all the way down to this level. I think we figure out where the base is. If we end here, we look for that as a turnover and then take it off there. Something. Yeah, Sunday's here, right? Here's Monday morning, something along those lines. I don't know where this zone is going to be. I'd like to see where we close. If we can base at the end of the day, right? Wash out the rest of this week. Yeah, I think this is another swing trade for the week. Yeah, excuse me. Bitcoin absolutely going up. Absolutely going up. So again, trade there. The trade from yesterday was out. Magically, look at this. Wow. From 7 o'clock on before news, magically even Bitcoin went down and down and down and down. Why? Because if it was going to go long, you want to get it for a cheaper price. And it went up. It's like they knew. It's amazing. It's amazing. So again, up 3%. This will turn and flip next week. Ethereum up even more. And again, look at that same thing. 7 o'clock candle, 7, 7:30, 8:30, all the way down until news came out. And then boom, it popped. It's amazing how that happens. Dogecoin, same thing now. Doji's up. Doji does not have the same spike, but we talked yesterday about this being kind of artificially high. And you can see, we've just been kind of deteriorating back down again. Not quite all the way down to 6. TLT. You may look at this one and be like, well, wait a second. What happened here? Remember we talked about TLT kind of turning and rolling? Well, yeah. TLT turned and rolled. Now, it is getting a little bit of reprieve right now. There was a little bit of a gap there. But the reality is they're still raising interest rates. We still got an inflation problem. So, yeah, I mean, nothing is really, overall, nothing has changed. But for some reason today, people are like, yeah, weak dollar. This is huge for the dollar, right? Huge. And we're hiring people left and right, right? Hiring people left and right. So, and I don't think that's going to slow down yet. So it's hard. When you're hiring tons and tons of people, you don't see unemployment rates go up. It's the opposite. When you're hiring less people than expected, right? It means people are getting laid off. But not so much, except in the United States. But again, nice little rollback, 7.50 all the way down to 5, so nice $2.50 run. I had somebody this morning in the Discord channel was talking about, well, if we're not using Nadex, is there any other places we can use? Yeah, I mean, traditional options. I mean, remember, binary options is a very small part of the market, like really, really tiny. There was, and I'm assuming there's still two. It was Nadex and one other one, but I mean, the volume is not there. Traditional options, guys, you can do all the same things with traditional options that you did with Nadex. As long as you're buying, your risk is already factored in. You can't get any more. If you sell options, though, then yes, you could be on the hook for margin account, but just buy, right? You can buy puts, you can buy calls, and play it up and down, and they have maximum risks already included in, but yet you can have trailing stops with them. You can have targets on them. You can take them off early. You can combine them with other things, with advanced orders. I mean, there's actually more that you can do. Well, the bond market is not something that is easily attainable or easily accessible to outside of kind of the banks and institutions, right? But the way you do that is through ETFs on bonds. This is like the most common one, the 20-year. Like, the yield inversion we were talking about? Well, guess what? I mean, we're talking about the 2 and the 10. I mean, the 20 is a big one, right? So easy way that you guys could play the bond market. And again, bond market is where, again, rich people aren't concerned with the stock market. They are in bonds and fixed incomes and things like that. They're not, yeah. You may ask, how do I know that? Well, financial advisor. Learned all about bonds there. My wife, she works for a high net worth, so I can tell you exactly. A high net worth. She's a planner for a high net worth firm. So I would say ultra high. Not your average advisor is what she has. So yeah, oil. Why is oil going up? Right? I mean, weak dollar, recession. It's bad. Why is this going up? Well, you're hiring a lot more people than expected. That means greater demand on oil. So again, look at Barkins. Oh, here we go. Collins is like, yeah, I can be open to that one. What did Barkins say? Yeah, job growth was about what I expected. I knew we were going to hire more people back, right? Labor market remains tight, not getting much help from the supply side. Says there's more work left to do. It is hard for people who have fought hard to raise prices to back off. Yep, exactly. Not sure I know what we'll do in December. Many are still to come, right? I can credibly say that the Fed has its foot. Oh, look at this. I can credibly say that the Fed has its foot on the brake. I don't know about that one. Could be potentially higher end rates, even slower. Yeah. So I don't know. Saying that they have their foot on the brake, again, Barkin is not a big mover, but maybe these are all the things that people want to hear right now. I don't know. Read Powell's statement, and I don't know that I would agree with a lot of these. So, yeah, but remember, there's politics involved with the non-big members. But anyway, look at that. Foot is on the brake, and what is oil doing? We last night we started at 87, and now we're all the way at the 92. So, yeah. How about that inflation, guys? We're killing the inflation. Inflation, what's the number one problem of inflation? Oh, the energy prices. Well, look at that. They must have solved the problem. So I am kind of sad that the 90-93 didn't work. Again, we were basing in here, and I was like, all right, this is going to be good, right? We're kind of chopping through, and I was like, man, maybe they will exhaust all the momentum here, but it didn't. It came back in, it actually broke and ended up going higher. So, we knew we had a bigger piece up top. Up at this 93 range, the question is, do we hold up here? The 93 mark is actually sitting a little bit into the zone right about there. We talk about a feel-good Friday. Yes, this is a feel-good Friday for the energy companies, who are basically not necessarily energy companies, but anybody who sells energy products. But yeah, oil is continuing to rise. I mean, we're up 4.83%. Now, with a 4.83%, I would kind of expect somewhat of a retracement starting on Sunday night, at least till Monday morning, till the U.S. trader gets online, unless we hear any type of geopolitical headlines. Like you said, anything could happen on the weekend, but right now, kind of surprised we haven't seen a top in this one, but right now up 4.83%. We are outside of the range of what normal is. We should see somewhat of a turn in and roll back down to the downside. Some of this also has to do with the dollar right now. But again, dollar's getting weaker, but again, that's wonderful. But at the same time, do I want to pay more at the pump? That's where I'm going to feel it. And all those people that are getting jobs, they're going to feel it. And again, we have an election coming up. So we talk about, a yield inversion curve. The doom is coming. Gas prices are rallying up to a 30-day high. I mean, these are not what people running for the election that are holding power right now really kind of want to hear. So, yeah, it is what it is. They have shares they want to sell to us. Yeah, exactly, Jeff. Yeah, pretty much. Natural gas. So, yesterday we were sitting right here. And we talked about buying in here, and that's what we hit at 3 p.m. yesterday, and that was the rally off. And then here we talked about here's the top, and we're still playing ping pong. So, yeah. And again, 625 all the way down to that kind of the 580.75. Yeah. So still playing ping pong. Nothing else different on that one. And like I said, I just literally moved this across and it went off the same level. So yeah, natural gas is more kind of a, I'd say sideways in a channel on the upper side of things. Again, look, this is where here's that kind of gap scenario. We came down and touched that and was the bottom, but there's the gap that was possible, right? That was the gap that we had last week. Right, for natural gas. So, could we gap above? Sure. Could we gap back down again? Sure. I'm bringing us back down in the 560. So, there's some potential in natural gas this week. I think wherever we gap gives us a pretty good telltale sign of what we need to do. So, again, Sunday night traders, definitely look to take advantage of this. Gold. Yeah, gold's going higher. Of course. Right, we had that parabolic move down. We came back, grabbed that side. We came back up again. Right now, we fully retraced it. We are sitting in a level right now, the 1760 on the top side. Again, the comments are helping right now, talking about, hey, listen, the end is near. Right? Oh, we're slowing it down. We're slowing it down. But yet you're seeing all the other inflationary factors going higher. Of course, gold is going up. Okay, but I think this is awesome. Okay, again, with such a big push, again, 2.26 is a little bit outside of the range. But again, we know we have selling up in this area. The gold market does end earlier, right? So this one will start flattening out. Gold right now, I think, has the ability to, again, turn and flip. Like I said, the most important person is Powell. It's great that these people are, saying, hey, right? Hey, right? Collins, Barkin, not necessarily the biggest name. But look, job growth is what I expected. So we're blowing it out of the water, right? We're hiring people back again. Maybe that brings down the JOLTS number because people are getting hired. But then if that's what you expected, how did the unemployment rate go up if more people are getting hired back? See where it doesn't make sense? And that's why this confusion is everywhere. But again, Collins saying, hey, we got our foot on the brake, but we're still open at 75. Okay. You know, so again, gold, I'd be looking for an absolute reversal on this one. And again, we are up in that territory right now. It does close earlier, and again, on a Friday, you want to be a little bit cautious with that. So again, I would say right now, my take on gold is look for an entry. Again, on a 30-minute, if we can get a red, green, red, will tell us that there's an entry there. But are we going to have enough time from now till the end of the day today on Friday? Probably not. Okay, so again, this is a Sunday night opening base trade. Look to take this to the downside. Silver taking off. So we came back down, and look, we still have that same Harry Potter here. We're good with that one. Again, this was a fast push down. We have broken through the $20 mark. So that's a very important thing, that we are above the $20 mark. You can see there is an old 78 level that we are kind of running into, right? 21 would be the next major level, but we do have a little bit of a hiccup. So right now, I don't want to root for silver. It's like, oh, please just go like a little bit more. Like, get up to there. Get up to 2075. You can get to 2075, and we can, or maybe over the weekend it bumps us to there. This has been such big movement. I think we turn and look for this one to retrace. So, drawing fibs now because we have a decent bottom and a decent top. You can see right now where if this is the top right now, if we start to turn and roll, you can see a lot of the congestion, and actually where the pullback came down to for that news today is right there. Also happens to be sitting right on a 50% retracement level. So again, the reversal back down, again, when you take a short, because again, I think there's a short in here, profit target 1 comes in right here. Profit target 2 comes in right here, right below that level. Okay, so those would be your 2 profit targets on a short. Like you said, is the top in? Maybe. I mean, 10:30 is about when we typically see it. The market does close earlier as far as a commodity goes, so we will see a top. If we can hit the 2076, that's ideal for me. I either want it to hit this one very, very quickly, or I want it to kind of end and close right there. The close of the market is... I need like an X. Boom. Close of the market is right there. Again, remember the silver market closes early, but if we can close there, I think that's a great short going into next week. Retracing back down again, probably to the 20 mark. Okay. We'll see where it goes. All right, let's look at the indices. Now, obviously, the indices are going to be all over the place. When you have somebody like Zero Hedge be like, oh my God, this is so confusing. What do we do? This is bad, but this is good, right? It's totally confusing for people. So it's going to be, I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be a weird morning, right? So let's drop this down to a 15-minute chart, okay? Now, with non-farm at 8:30 in the morning, right? Yes, it is an hour beforehand, but again, retail traders can't react till 9:30 because they don't know how to do it, right? This one is I don't know how to say it. It's like pure trap, right? So you can see right here. Here's the 8:30 that whips all back and forth. You're like, oh God, what do we do? What do we do? And then price pushed up. There's 8:45. There's 9. There's 9:15, and then we opened. Okay. This is one of those ones that, for me, okay, the opening print strategy is meant to take advantage of supply and demand levels at the open, and you can typically see it ahead of time. Now, this one you could see ahead of time, but the problem is there wasn't really necessarily a definable level of risk, okay? There was some small levels in here that you could have, if you really were trying to get something, you could have said, well, wait a second, there's our touch right there, and you could have taken that one right there, and you could have traded that one. My recommendation for this one this morning would have been not to take these, okay? Could you have predicted it? Absolutely. Why? Because retail traders couldn't react to here. Retail traders saw it going up. They had the fear of missing out. They just saw data that looked horrible for the dollar. That's it. Bam, they're not going to turn us into a recession, and that's why the price went down. Okay. The reason it immediately tanked is because every single person that was trying to hit buy was immediately stopped out down here at its puke point, basically being like, I can't take anymore. Holy crap, I've lost so much money. What's going on? I don't know what's going on, right? It's very easy to pick, right? Could you have said, well, there's a level there. I'm looking at it. It's confirmed. Yeah, you could have. And if you would have traded that at the open, yes, it would have been a short. So for a more advanced trader, yes, you absolutely could have taken it. I'll draw it on there for the short position. But I don't want you guys to think that we're like, again, there's your 1 to 3. You can see it went well past. This is one of those ones that my recommendation is, unless you're very, very familiar with trading non-farm payrolls, again, the opening print, the course is not published yet, so you guys haven't seen all the rules. I've given most of them out on the channel, but again, this is one of those ones that I always said, probably a bit more conservative to stay out, okay? Absolutely 100% a trap. Absolutely 100% was a signal to sell, okay, at the open. And if you're not exactly sure why the market tanked so bad and now it's coming back up again, it's very easy. Once it turns and rolls, it's the same thing. Everybody that's selling, for all the people that want to get long, it's easy. They're getting it on sale again, right? They got it on sale here, right? They took their profit, stopped out all the retail traders that came down. Now all the retail traders are trying to get out, and all those people are buying it back again to run it back up again for a second time, right? And now that it's breaking above the high, okay, now that it's doing this, all the retail traders again are like, man, I knew I shouldn't have used the stop loss. I never should have got out of this trade. And that's why you're seeing kind of the same bet. So again, there is some contagion with this one. It is 10:30 right now. Now's where it would come back again. But that's why you've seen so much whipsaw back and forth in this one. And again, you will start seeing the manipulation leave as people have like, I've made my money. I'm out. See you guys. Have fun. Right? There's not really any major levels there. The 50% is a little bit higher. But as far as opening print goes, could you have traded this one? Absolutely. Is non-farm mass manipulation the best time for you to trade? No, it's not. But it was an easy setup. You would have definitely called this one short, especially with a pop in. There was a level there, so you could have actually drawn this one. But the recommendation is maybe not. Okay. NQ. Okay. NQ did exactly the same thing. It came up. Now you could say, is there a level there? There's some levels over there, but kind of the same thinking. Here's the 915. There's your 930, and it immediately dropped to the downside. Okay. If I had to draw this one, like if I go like this, and if I had to draw a level here, I'd say, okay, well, if we're going to use this, we're going to use this, and kind of here, right? It's kind of the bottom, right? There's the bottom, there's the top, and then this kind of came up, and there's your confirmation on there. That's how you would have had to draw on the bottom. Had you done that? Yes, it's the same exact thing. You would have got the entry. It absolutely tanked. It went well past the 1.3. I don't need to draw it. And you may say, well, wait a second. It was going up. It was such great data. Why did it tank? Again, it's to trap every single one of those retail traders. Oh, it's Kip. I'm like, what the heck is that noise? I'm getting raided by the FBI here. They're like, stop telling the secrets of the world. It's Kip banging on the door. But same thing. Could you have traded this one, guys? Absolutely. Again, there would have been drawing your zone. Again, when you remove it, it makes all the sense in the world. There's your short. It stopped everybody out. Everybody sold it just to give the same people that bought it over here the ability to get back in again. And now you're seeing it again. It's coming back into the short area. They're getting out. So, again, could you add this one into the opening print? Absolutely, 100%. Is it the best one unless you're experienced with it? No. Again, opening print is a bit more dangerous because there's a lot of manipulation involved with it. Very, very predictable with what would have happened. Okay. YM. Same thing, not as much pullback. Now, YM, I would say, again, we start talking about reversals. Okay. Same thing, came up, went right back down again, right? Immediate stop out, grabbed where it should have, right? That's where your profit would have been on the short. And again, it grabbed it. Now, I will say, this one is a little bit uglier. Okay. I don't know if you can see it. There's a wick on the wall right there. Okay. I'm going to turn this orange. It is also a 61. So we are kind of getting close. Have not hit it yet, but super, super close. We are at that turn 30 time frame. There has just been another surge forward. All the comments are out. Everything's absorbed. We're hitting a 61.8 level. ES and NQ are both at levels where you're like, oh, God, is there another trap here? Yeah. So I would say right now, again, this one is also looking like it could be a turn. What do you do on this one? And again, I would do it on the 15-minute. This is potentially the top. You can see it floating back and forth. It's a doji. People know what that means. If there's your top, if you get a red, a green that doesn't come as high, and another red, that'd be where you pull the trigger looking for price to push down to this level. Okay. Don't know if it is or not. Again, we're 7 minutes into the candle right now, but right now we're starting to get close to the top. We are at a 61.8. There has been a big push. All the retail traders are like, I knew I should have never got out of this trade. Get into it now. And yeah, that's where they tend to turn and roll. And the way that this candle's looking right now, looking like we could be a reversal. And YM is the weakest of all of them. It's only at 1.65. So if one of them does turn and roll and turn negative today, guess which one's going first? It'd be YM. Okay. Let's see if we can headline. I love Collins. This is great. Hey, you know what? She's like, we definitely got our foot on the gas pedal, right? She's like, but it's way too early to speculate where the rate cycle stops. I mean, terminal funds rate expected higher than the September forecast, right? Job growth may be able to catch up for post demand. Job earnings data inconsistent with 2% inflation target. Yeah, because it's way higher than expected. And current unemployment rate remains very low. So, makes a lot of sense for Fed to shift to smaller rate increases. And I don't disagree with this. The problem with this, just so everybody knows, the smaller increases, it kind of makes sense because we've done 0.75, 0.7, and those are 0.75s are big raises. It does make sense, but the problem is, the UK says if we've maintained small ones, it's going to take another year for us to get ahead of where inflation needs to stop, right? That means higher inflation for a longer period of time versus them jumping a bit farther and, oh no, the economy crashed us a little bit, right? So it's kind of like, do we want to keep having inflation increase at a slower rate until they can, it's kind of like, is one more big jump what we need and then we kind of slow down? I personally believe we go one big jump and then pause for one versus saying, you know what, let's just shift gears. Instead of 0.75, let's do 0.5, and then we can slowly try to, pinpoint that stop because we don't know where the stop is yet. And remember, they have to go past. They said we're going past. Okay, so I agree. I get it, but this means we're not slowing down, or we're slowing down, but we're not stopping, right? So, is what it is. Let's see what we got here. Same thing. Look at this. Look at this. Came back up. Grab these guys. Again, 930 candle right there. Tanked it right down. Let's see. This one also probably has a fib level that we're coming up to for a reversal. Yeah, there we go. Really, this is kind of the level right here where you start seeing it. But kind of the same thinking, right? ES is at a level where there's a potential turn. NQ is at a level. YM, we know that we're kind of sitting at a potential level right now, and we're hitting the 50% on the Russell. So it is 1030. Well, it's 1040, but it's 1030 when we see most reversals happen during the day. Obviously, it's been whipsawed back and forth. Zero Head is telling you right now that, it's confusing. You got Collins 1 second saying, hey, we can do 70. If we need to do 75, it's still open. It's still out there. And then Collins is like, well, it's way too early to, then you got Barkin say, well, we got our foot on the pedal. And then over here, it's too early to speculate when we're going to stop, right? So none of them have said that we're stopping yet. So it's still going to go higher. So yeah, it depends on how deep you want to get into this one. So, but anyway, opening prints today, you could have absolutely traded, I'd say 2 out of the 3 or 2 out of the 4, maybe the third one. You could have said that. With definable risk, all 4 of them you could have shorted at the open, knowing that, listen, these are all going down because everybody and their brother is trying to buy right now. But again, the strategy is, we're looking for near-term pullbacks. Again, you're trying to avoid major news things. And again, non-farm is the biggest one that exists. So again, take it for what it's worth. But again, this is one of those things, if you understood manipulation, all 4 of these were shorts at the open, only because retail traders don't react till 9:30. And news this big at 8:30, this movement, yeah, kind of fit into it. Dollar now too is at the 78, so this is at a level where we could see. And you want to talk about side of what the ordinary is, guys? Just so you guys understand, there's your Bollinger Band, right? It's I mean, it's literally heading straight down. It's trying, but it's still chasing price, right? It's here. I don't know if you can see it. It's right there, right? It's chasing price, right? It's like, come on, I'll get you eventually. Right, but we're running this stuff here, so we should see the dollar slow down a little bit. Again, we're down at 111, so it's fine. I love when it does that. So, all right. So with that said, it's Friday. Let's get out of here. Let's go do the drawing. So Ernest won yesterday. He used some of the hack buttons in there to kind of get in there and work his magic. 8 of you in. Briggs didn't make it today. Briggs was here yesterday, but he didn't make it in today, so hopefully he's watching. All right, let's shut it down. So, winner of today's drawing, will Ernest get a repeat victory? Will he get his 100, or will someone else take the victory today? No major outliers. Nero's giving him a little run for his money, but again, 2 versus 1 is not big of a difference. Winner of today's drawing is, look at that. He didn't turn the hacks off. He's still winning today. 20% chance of winning, had the highest percentage chance tied with Nero. Look at that. Leaderboard. Ernest turning it on for the weekend. I just talked about yesterday how he's starting to drop down here. He's been unlucky and winning, and look at that. Definitely rigged. Yep. Yeah, Ernest tried to ban himself, but then he unbanned himself. It's I don't know. It's, you guys know how it works. You know how it works. So, all right. With that said, again, we're starting to see some leveling out. Dollar CAD, go dollar CAD. Look for some reversals coming in on Sunday night. I think there's plenty of opportunity out there. And again, depending on the market that you guys trade, again, I keep going back to this, and it's one of those things. Unfortunately, I wish I could do a lot more inside of the stock and options market. Having a wife that is licensed, though, unfortunately, I can't. But again, it is an amazing market. If I could, guys, I would. Like I said, I like the idea of options. I love the protection for risk and things like that. Just be smart with it. Options does have a lot of dangerous spots as well. right? It can absolutely be very dangerous if you don't know what you're doing, but there's a million resources out there for it. There are great brokers that are big, that are cheap, and again, options are easy and difficult all at the same time, right? If you understand the difference between rights and obligations, awesome to trade. There's no reason in the world you should ever trade stock. And it's funny. I love these gurus like, oh, we're going to trade stocks. You're all idiots. If you only understood what it, again, the power of leverage and the power of protection inside of options, anybody that trades stocks has just proven that they have no idea what they're talking about. Now, again, there are rich people that have, huge, gigantic accounts. You can do some fun things with combinations of stocks and options together. And that's actually where Warren Buffett made tons of money on. Coca-Cola, right? Dynamic hedging with options. But again, acquiring stock, cheaper prices, hedging against it. Yeah, there's some fun stuff you can do with it. But for 99.9% of people, just trade the option. Okay. All right. With that said, I'm out here. You guys take care. Have a great, safe weekend. Planning to be back Monday. I do have a lacrosse tournament on. I'm coaching on Sunday. We have 4 games. Championship game would be a 5th game. So we'll see. Last time I was a little bit rough, but as of right now, everything should be good. So see you guys Monday morning. Look for those rehearsals Sunday night, and I'll catch you guys then. Take care.